Hey everybody, welcome back. We're playing some Isaac. I can't remember, dude, it's been like 4 days, I think, since I recorded an episode. Wait, why do you do this to me? Is it something I said? I think in terms of overall, Isaac gaming, in conjecture, I wouldn't say I've been the most positive content creator, but I think I've always tried to give the game and the people making it in particular the benefit of the doubt, operating from a position of, assumed goodwill. Admittedly, the people who made the game did not make the randomizer, but I'm just, you know what you're gonna do, and I'm not trying to throw shade on the TRPG, the creator of this randomizer. You're gonna make me hit Control-Shift-J. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna make me hit Control-Shift-J every once in a while. Back in the old days, Grandpa be driving around in his, old Pontiac Firebird. I don't know what the heck they were driving back then. Look, I'm just building the moment here. He'd hear a little thump, 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 thump. Eventually, he decides, you know what, it's time to take matter into his own hands. Pulls over to the side of the road, pops the hood, rolls up the sleeves on his plaid shirt, and starts to diagnose it himself. Now, I don't have any practical mechanical skills, but I do have the equivalent of an associate's diploma in software engineering. I want to take a look at the data structure. I want to take a look at the random number generation and ensure that it is truly random, and then there hasn't been a clandestine man-in-the-middle attack vector that allowed for some unscrupulous prankster. Maybe like an Ashton Kutcher or the kid from Stranger Things who also has that other show that I can't remember the name of. Nightmare Pranks, something like that. I just want to make sure there hasn't been a man-in-the-middle attack. You know what I'm saying? Some Isaac viewer hacks the website, inserts a rogue piece of code that makes the more difficult characters also come up more frequently. It's more likely than you think. You never know. You're going to make me Control-Shift-J. That's all I'm saying. That's what you brought me to. So if you want to do a little bit of custodial maintenance and make sure you don't have too much coupling, now would be the time. Because I'm rolling those sleeves up, man. Rolling the... Hold on. You thought you could hide from me? How am I doing? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It is Boxing Day, December 26th. But the show goes on, as you already know, I'm assuming at this point. Didn't do any work yesterday on Christmas. Had a good day. We are living in, by Vancouver standards, it's like apocalyptic, but by like, most of the, maybe not most of the rest of the world, but like a lot of the rest of the world, it snowed. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything I've said thus far was just a roundabout way of building the moment and telling you that it snowed. I shouldn't get too precious here, but just work with me for a second. I figure you try one of those, see what we get from the boss. We'll see what we're looking at here. We had family over yesterday, so like we had planned for this, well in advance. We were like, on Christmas Day, what if we went up to one of the mountains around Vancouver, and we did, Kate might want to do a little snowboarding. We got a little plastic sled that I could pull the baby in. It was going to be a fun time. We were going to take a lot of photos. A little bit spooky getting up the mountain on Christmas morning. I mean, the thing... I think you just do it like that. The thing that I always feel like I have to say in defense of Vancouver and other places where it doesn't really snow or historically has not really snowed that much is that people always assume, there's like an East Coast superiority that people have in North America, or Midwestern probably is even worse. You thought you were going to get away with it, didn't you? Didn't you, Idaho? You thought he's not talking about me, he's talking about Boston. I'm talking about anywhere with a winter. One of the favorite, personal interest news stories they get is you wouldn't believe it, San Diego had 3 flakes of snow today, and those people are going insane. Up here, we're just built different, I guess. We got a lot of snow, and we just don't complain about it at all, except endlessly to each other all the time. The reason, it's not... I mean, there's a couple of things, right? One is, you're not used to the weather that doesn't happen that often where you live. Same thing, if you live in the Northeast and it was like a nice temperature, you probably wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. You would be like, what the heck? It's been 65 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 weeks in a row. Is everything okay? You know, we'd be laughing it up down here in our Vancouver mildness, quite frankly. Jeez Louise, I don't know. I'm starting to... It's been almost 2 weeks since I had a blizzard and had to scrape off the windshield of my car. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. But then the other thing is, we don't have the infrastructure for it. You know, it hasn't been baked into the city budgets and stuff like that yet. You know, for extensive snow removal and salting the roads and, you know, so on and so forth. Like, people don't even own scrapers. People don't even own snow shovels. Like, honestly, you should be thankful that I grew up in a place where it does snow, and we also, you know, take precautions, so we have winter tires. But there was literally, while we were driving up the mountain, I don't even know how this happened, but we got stuck behind somebody who was going very, very slow. Like, slower than is safe. Slow enough that it's actually more of, like, a danger than speeding, quite frankly. And I was like, what's going on with this guy? And then that guy passed another guy in front of him who was going insanely slow, and I suddenly realized what happened. His driver's side but back tire had completely blown out. It was just like, it was like he drove over a spike strip. There was just loose rubber flying off. You could see the exposed rim. Take one of these. And the worst part about it, like, at first, there is an element of like, wow, what did this bozo do to deserve that? But the answer is, like, probably nothing. Probably just routine driving, but, like, older tires, or, you know, could have even, like, run over a piece of glass or something. You never know. I'm gonna get a little freaky here. I'd like to have 2 incubuses, and I think we can afford this one. I think that's a great pickup, honestly. But the worst part is we're on like a winding 15-kilometer mountain pass where there's literally, because we don't have like, I mean, we have snow plows. Like, the roads were plowed, but they were still icy, and only like a little strip with 2 tire marks was actually plowed. So you just drove in the tire marks of like the person in front of you. But there's no place to pull over because there's just snowbanks on the side of the road. So you could choose to either keep driving on this mountain pass on your busted tire, which normally would not be an option, but when your other option is drive your car literally into a snowbank. We don't have any red hearts necessarily. Let's be a little careful here. You know, I respect their decision to just keep driving, because I don't know what the heck else you could even really do. I don't know about these pills, man. Oh, no, 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 no. Look, I know I'm not doing it, okay? We've done it so many times. We have so little HP. We got a beautiful thing going on here. The zane of this run is that we are Jacob and Esau. We got 2 incubuses. We had a great Diplopia play. Everybody just relax. Everybody just sit still. We're going to have a fun run today. Anyway, so then when I had the chance, I passed them. Because I was like, I don't want people to do things, you know? I don't want to be stuck behind this guy. I don't care about being late. Like, it takes as long as it takes. But I don't want people behind me to start tailgating me, because there's always, like, some snow psychos who are like, yeah, it's snowing, so what? I'm going to go 20 over the speed limit in my, you know, BMW SUV with all-season tires on. And, you know, they're going like, skirt, skirt, and you're like, you know what? Just go around, man. Just go around. Don't make me, like, the object of your derision today. I don't want to die. I'm just trying to get to, like, the ski hill. Anyway, we made it past. I don't know what happened to him. I hope he had a better Christmas from that point onwards. Then we got to the mountain, and we, you know, got kitted up in our snow gear, put the baby inside of this sled that we bought. I'm not gonna act like it was a major purchase, you know. It was like a $10 plastic sled. Wheeled her around in the parking lot, or slid her around in the parking lot for about 30 seconds until ski resort staff came up to us and said, hey, just so you know, there's no sledding at this mountain. And I said, oh, because I'm a person who, you know, assumes the best in everything sometimes, maybe. I said, oh, don't worry, we're not, like, sliding, like, we're not going tobogganing. My wife's just gonna maybe snowboard a little bit. I'll just pull the baby around. And they're like, no, that's what we mean. You can't do that. And I was like, okay. And then we talked about it for like, you know, a few minutes, and we're like, what the heck are we gonna do? Because it's not like I'm gonna be busting it. Like, the snow tire situation does not extend to the stroller. So, like, my choice, and I'm very happy my wife and I came to an agreement on this one. The choices were basically go home, or my wife could enjoy a day of snowboarding by herself, and me and the baby would just sit on a chair in the food court for it's 4 to 10 hours until, you know, she decided that it was, you know, she'd had her fill. So we went home, which was nice, honestly. I'm very appreciative of that, because I honestly, like, holding the baby, you kind of get used to it. No doubt about that. But I'm pretty confident that after that length of time, my arms would have fallen off completely. You hear something? Hold on. Is it Santa Claus? Probably not. Santa is Boxing Day. Get with the times, dude. Yeah, go ahead. Everybody else just relax. We got lots of good items here. We just don't want to make the classic mistake of... get out! of going a little overboard and not having the HP to get us through the chest, which doesn't take that much, but it might take more than you originally think, at least. We got a very good setup here, but there's some dodges that are, like, tough to avoid. Or tough to avoid getting hit, I should say. We've got Pyromaniac, which is also great. We don't really have a great HP base, but anyway, we came home. And the rest of the day, you know, I think that we live in a different world than we used to. I feel like that would be like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That would, or an episode of Seinfeld, that interaction that we had would have resulted, I should say, in like a fight. You know, would have been like, no tobogganing. What is? I don't believe it. This is really. For us, we were just like, you know, hey, you know what? There's bigger problems in the world. You don't let sledding at your mountain. That's fine. I'll just, you know, give you a 1-star review and never come back. And thanks. Have a good day. It's the way God intended customer service to be. Anyway. So we came home and had a nice day. We had, you know, some family over for dinner. We ordered one of those, like, you know, another, like a restaurant cooks or a grocery store cooks your Christmas dinner for you. You just reheat it. That was nice. It's still, you know, it really puts in perspective. Like, every year I get more respect for my grandma cooking both Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner every year that I was growing up. Because, like, to reheat everything in the oven. Come on, we're not savages. You think we're using Chef Mike? We're a house full of Kitchen Nightmares enjoyers. Needs to go to the rich get richer on this one. It took 2.5 hours to reheat everything in the oven. You know, the turkey goes in for 2.5 hours, the potatoes go in for 40 minutes, the stuffing goes in for 35 minutes, the Brussels sprouts go in for 30 minutes. Even that, I was like, not exhausted, but I was like, man, Granny. That's not what I call her. That felt weird to say. It's only like Granny is almost like derisive. Wow. Nan, great job. Because I don't even know how long it takes to cook a whole turkey, but it's certainly like, you know, it's longer than 2.5 hours. I mean, it takes like 50 minutes to high roast the chicken, America's Test Kitchen style, if you're doing it at like 500 degrees. And a chicken is, I don't even know, like 1/6 the size of a turkey. Which is a great way to also say, you know, we had 4 adults and 2, you know, children under the age of 12 and a baby. And we ate about, I would say, 1/4 of this entire turkey. And I spent like an hour, well, let's not exaggerate. I spent like 20 minutes this morning carving the rest up. Nothing makes you feel like you're in a Norman Rockwell painting, like slicing up a roasted bird. I'm not even sure I mean that in like a good way. I'm just like, I was like, man, I do not feel like I'm living in the modern era. But I'll also say, man, I don't know, I don't want to insult anybody's family traditions, but this is the first time I think I've ever carved a turkey, but I've carved a chicken before, like lots of times, so I get the general gist of it, you know? You take the leg off, you know, slice it up into normal dark meat proportions, you start slicing you know, little pieces off of the breast, and then you leave the rest intact. You carve it up and put it in a freezer bag, and then you go, do you guys want some leftovers? You want some leftovers? Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want any leftovers? We can't possibly eat this much. And then they go, no, 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 there's nothing we could do. But yeah, this, anyway, just it's a staggering amount of food, but it feels nice. Apologies, by the way, to the non-meat eaters out here who might find this a little bit gross, but it's just so much nicer to use, like, a sharp chef's knife to carve something like that than it is to do what my grandparents did growing up and get one of those as seen on TV electric turkey carving knives that, you know, sounds like your grandma's electric toothbrush, but, you know, it always slices the meat weird, like, it gets, like, fuzzy edges and stuff like that. You gotta plug it in. I'm already scared enough, like, with a knife. Well, scared is not the word, I guess I would use. I'm already, like, you know, careful enough just using a knife to begin with. Because, you know, everybody at some point will probably accidentally cut themselves in the kitchen. I've done it, you know, my fair share. As I get older, I actually just recognize it at 30 seconds of focus on chopping instead of, like, also looking at my phone or something or having a conversation while trying to do it will serve you well. HP? Yeah, okay, finally we get to spread it around a little. Because you do have the wafer. This is an amazing run, honestly. And I do need to toot my own horn. Because there was a period where, like, we didn't get hit for a long time. That's not always that impressive, but as Jacob and Esau, it's pretty impressive at all times. But anyway, forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I don't know. It feels nice to perfectly, you know, slice off. I felt like a good, you know, Americana era breadwinner. You know, I was like, here's the roasted goose, and then I slice off, you know, you get a little bit of skin still on it. It's a slice that's, like, thick enough that you're like, ooh, they're not, you know, they're not messing around, but thin enough so it's not, you know, like, turning mealy in your mouth or anything like that. I was like, I felt pretty accomplished yesterday. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, it was a great meal, you know, good company. That's about it. That's better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Didn't really get up to too much. We did, we opened gifts, obviously. The baby, I think it's hard to buy gifts for a 15-month-old infant. Is what I'll say about that. We got her some Sesame Street stuff, and she likes it. Like, it's a little keyboard that's got, like, you know, Big Bird, Oscar the Grouch, Cookie Monster, and Elmo, and then, you know, using their, it's like I didn't mean to buy that, but I walked into it to not take damage. You know, Animasola is so good, though. I feel like you just gotta take the L on that one and just stick to Animasola. But yeah, just uses their voices to go, you know, like, twinkle, twinkle, little star, you know, she likes it enough, but even then, like, babies are delicate, man. I mean, tell me something I don't know, but, like, it's, a little loud, so sometimes when she hits a button, she freaks out, because she's like, what? I didn't expect Oscar the Grouch to yell at me. And then we got her, like, a little play set that is, like, you know, it's got pop-out letters and pop-out numbers from Sesame Street, then you try to put them back in. That's more her speed right now, for sure. She's, like, pretty into that. My parents got her a Tickle Me Elmo. I think it's even, like, they've got so much feature creep now, it's like, the tickliest, hug me Elmo, or something like that. And she goes through, like, when we first opened it, she was like, this is my jam. Like, I love this. And then she goes through some, I'm not even I love it, we just don't have the HP, man. She goes through periods where she's like, I love Elmo, I want to give Elmo a hug. And then she goes through periods where she's like, this doll is the Joker, without a doubt. Like, I'll admit, Elmo's a little bit of a psycho, you know, in the Tickle Me Elmo, like, you touch him on his belly, and he goes, like, he laughs like Joaquin Phoenix, and just you give him, like, one little touch, he just goes off, and I know you're like, me too, shut up, we're talking about Sesame Street, you pervert, you sicko. It's the holiday season, can't you just give it a rest for, like, 2 days? Anyway, you're not wrong, though. So, you know, I would say it's a hit, but there's some elements, I guess, of like, you know, hit or miss there. Why was I invincible? Missing page made me invincible, I guess. I had the Polaroid effect from missing page. Okay, that's kind of cracked. I'll live with that. Yeah, it was good stuff. That's about it. There's nothing really much more to say, quite frankly. It's cold. It's cold here, man. Which I think means that there must be some Toros in the atmosphere. I have not seen The Matrix 4 yet. I know you're like, that's high on the list. Well, kind of yes, kind of no. If they put it out on streaming, I'd watch it tonight. But unfortunately, I live in Canada, where we're not respected by HBO for whatever reason, even though they certainly respect my visa and manage to take out a certain amount of money every month for the privilege of me being able to watch all the seasons of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Apparently they don't respect the credit card enough. Apparently our money's no good here, so we can't watch The Matrix, unlike, you know, our fine friends south of the border. But I'm happy to report I did watch the first 20 minutes of The Matrix Reloaded last night before I fell asleep. I've seen it a few times before in the past, for sure. But I just started watching it. See HBO? Screw you. Netflix has my back. Did you know a recurring bit for me is that I think Netflix just lies to us? You know, probably this is not even a conspiracy theory. Most people would just agree with it, but I think Netflix lies to us in order to get us to watch more content. And my evidence for this usually is that if you ever watch like a show, let's just say you watch a documentary about ancient Rome, Netflix will gaslight you into thinking that there's a renaissance of documentaries about ancient Rome that have just come out. And they're very careful with the verbiage. They're a little sneaky, okay? They don't do like recently added, because that would be a lie. But what they do is trending now. And then you're like, really? It's funny, like, when I watch Squid Game, I guess this is plausible. Because when I watched Squid Game, everything that was trending now was 17 different Korean dramas. Okay, I suppose I could be persuaded to believe that. What am I doing here, man? This is just impossible. Judgment. And now that I watch, you know, one documentary about the Second World War, and then they're like, oh, recently added, trending now, World War II in color, the best battles of World War II, Hitler's underground alien bunker. You know, it just never ends. They're very careful with the verbiage. They don't insinuate that it's, well, I guess they insinuate it. They don't use any kind of like objective metric of its popularity. But they do try to give you like that, they try to peer pressure you a little bit. They're like, oh, you know, you've got such great taste. Wouldn't you know it, everything that's trending is exactly the thing that you just recently became obsessed with watching. You're so smart. But anyway, I'm not trying to, like, you know, ruin anybody's day or whatever. Hold on. How about a 50% chance to explode on taking damage, which with Pyromaniac would recover our HP? How about that? Do you think that would work? Possibly, maybe not. But the Exhibit Z in Netflix Lies to Us is, I clicked on The Matrix Reloaded knowing I was going to watch it no matter what, and it said, good choice. This movie is one of the most liked movies on Netflix by people who watched it. So the insinuation was there's a higher degree of customer satisfaction, I guess, or viewer satisfaction. Should have gone to the shop. That's my bad. From people that watched the Matrix Reloaded than watched the average movie on Netflix. I refuse to believe that. I mean, I'm sure we could come up with reasons why that would be. The movie's older, you know, most of the people who were going to watch it have probably already seen it. I could also come up with some reasons for why that couldn't possibly be true. Anybody doing a rewatch of the Matrix trilogy after watching The Matrix is going to be very unlikely to hit the yes button on The Matrix Reloaded's Did You Enjoy This? Just my 2 cents. We're going to go to the... Oh, there's a Tinted Rock in there, too. Slop. This is what happens when you don't play for a few days. Been playing too much Mario 64, getting a little sloppy. And And also, the movie is not that good. Like, I like it, but I like it... I mean, it's clear from, like, the get-go that this was something... I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have an idea in mind when they made the Matrix sequel, but, like, it's that classic, like, you know... Movie 1 was, like, a super cool original idea, and movie 2, they start to, like, you know, answer the questions, like... You know, when you're a less... I don't know, I don't want to be a snob about it. I think the older I've got... Let's put it this way, let's compare against myself. The older I've gotten, the more I've come to accept the value in a mystery without the mystery solution being presented to me. By which I mean... you know, in Matrix... The Matrix, the first movie, they talk about Zion... They talk about, you know, the world of the machines and stuff like that, and what their motivations are on a deeper level. But they leave, like, little... It's a breadcrumb trail, right? They don't actually show you. They're just like, it's world building. In the Matrix 2, they're like, you know, they walk into the city of Zion, and Link says, "Man, I'm glad to be home." You know, it's just like the... It's like if Sofia Coppola made like a Lost in Translation 2, where like we finally found out what Bill Murray says to Scarlett Johansson at the end of the movie. It's just like, no, the only reason it has meaning is because it's unknown. If we knew that he said like, "Hey, I'll call you when you land," you know, then it you know, it would be mundane and everyday. But instead, with, you know, Just Like Honey by the Jesus and Mary Chain playing in the background, when you can't hear the words, it gets your brain thinking, like, what kind of wisdom is he dropping here, or what is he dropping here? Same thing, like, some of these mysteries are just better served not actually being solved, and instead just existing, you know, in the old cerebrum. In a quantum superposition of all the cool theories that it could possibly be without collapsing them down into a single data point of mundanity. Anyway, overblown physics illiterate metaphors aside, it's still pretty good. You know what, I think The Matrix has also, like, just taught me some stuff. One of the things it has taught me is that the easiest way to look cool is just to look weird. Right? Isn't it? There's got to be some truth to that. Like, people in The Matrix dress cool, but that's because they all look like weirdos. And I mean that in a good way. I mean weird as like a compliment rather than like, you know, you're weird. But like, I think that's true, you know. Sometimes you'll see people, like Vancouver's a very well-dressed city. Sometimes there'll be, you know, intersection of like Burrard and Alberni, and you'll see people that work in, you know, finance or whatever, tech, and they're walking around and they got nice clothes on, and you're like, oh, this person, like, they're well dressed, you know, they obviously take care of themselves. Every once in a while, though, you'll see somebody walking by in something you ain't ever seen before, and you're like, holy crap, that person's cool. What are those, sunglasses that are triangles instead of circles? What a world, man, this is crazy, get me out of here. Right? That makes a lot of sense, actually, now that I think about it. That's how that works. Or maybe I'm taking it one step too far, and the actual truth is that you just look cool if you wear cool sunglasses. Like, sunglasses can be sort of uncool, depending on the ones that you wear. By the way, I don't, like, look, I'm not a fashion guy. I'm just saying, like, there's two different kinds of people who wear Oakleys. People who are like, look at the incredible UV protection I'm getting, and also they stay on my head while I run. And then people who are like, check out this angry tweet I just sent from the driver's seat of my truck. You know? Like, you're... I'm not necessarily saying you're guaranteeing that you're making a social statement when you wear Oakleys. All I'm saying, and I got nothing against Oakleys. Maybe I would buy some Oakleys at some point if I, you know, started going boating, and I needed something that didn't fly off my face when I shifted up to third gear or something on the middle of the Poconos. That's a lake, right? I'm not dead. You're dead. But not all sunglasses are cool. Let's put it that way. I think there's a lot of people who think if you just wear sunglasses... Wow, that hurts. You're cool no matter what. I would debate that for sure. But if you're wearing, like, octagonal sunglasses, just come up with a call sign. That's all I ask. Could you be like, you could be like, ampersand, ampersand, runner. Stevens, agent. Tilda, runner. Null pointer, agent. You ever see that video? It's so good. I'm glad I've talked about The Matrix way longer than anybody should. Probably in 2021 for sure. I'm glad The Matrix has had like a cultural moment of acceptance. Where it has gone from like, oh yeah, those movies where like the second and third one disappointed most people and didn't live up to the expectations of the that they had set out in the first one. I'm glad we've moved, and I was guilty of that for sure, by the way. But I'm glad we've moved on from that to more like, oh yeah, The Matrix. That really cool idea that sometimes has uneven execution. I think we've moved on to a place of appreciation rather than like disappointment. That's, you know, the perfect example of time healing all wounds, isn't it? You gotta remember the first one was like, forgive the pun, but the first one was like a revelation. Lots of cool ideas. Integrated with well choreographed gunplay, martial arts and stuff like that. And the second one was like, you know, what if a computer could fall in love? And you're like, I don't... I do respect the fashion choice also, and again, prepare yourself for like 2 weeks of me watching this movie in 20-minute bursts as I fall asleep. But Lawrence Fishburne's speech when he's just before the rave in Zion is so good. He just gets like disgusting. Let us let the machines know we are still here. Let our dancing make the walls slick with the humidity of our sweat. You're like, man, dude, come on. It's a global pandemic, Morpheus. Can you just chill out a little bit? I don't even want it. That's like a TikTok waiting to happen right there. Let's just move on from that. Anyway, so yeah, that's basically like all that's been going on. It's all good, man. Having a good time. Saw half of Jungle Cruise. Some of my family was like, you know, we don't get Disney Plus. We've been looking to watch this. And I was like, all right, sure. I don't know. Because I believe I may have previously said, ain't nobody going to the theater to see Jungle Cruise. I didn't realize, but actually, you know, it's got a target audience. Well, I mean, they didn't go to the theater to see it, obviously, or they, you know, wouldn't be watching it on my Disney Plus, but they were like, oh, we've been looking forward to seeing this for like 6 months. And I was like, really? Jungle Cruise? Sure, there you knock yourself out. There's the Disney Plus subscription justified for 1 more month. Keep moving. And the other thing, because I know some people will ask, NL, did you find the time to do some Mario 64? I may have snuck in a run or two, which is actually... I might die here. Is actually not that impressive now that you remember that a run or two of Super Mario 64 is legitimately only like, you know... I mean, I'm not saying I had any new PBs, but you could do 2 runs in like an hour and 10 minutes, even if you do screw up a little bit. So, you know, when I find myself having a little bit of time, do I sneak in a little Mario 64? You know, depends who's asking, but yeah. Yeah, maybe I've been practicing my side flips on Get to the Top of the Tower on Thwomp's Palace. Sure. Maybe I've been practicing some of the silly skips on Bowser 3. You know, it depends. Who are you? Are you an officer of the law? Because if you are, you have to tell me. Are you one of Bowser's agents? His agents of chaos? So we, like, I know I haven't talked too much about Isaac here. But I'm okay. We really should be fine if we make it to Blue Baby. Anima Sola is like a cracked boss fighting option. We have Ace of Hearts, which we should really just use on a large room, probably. We're so unlikely to die on any one room that we walk into with full HP. It's a little spooky. But hear me out. I guess I'm going to take Blood Puppy. What is this? Enemies explode into tears that inherit the tear effects. Okay, but don't be shy. You get this one. Okay, check this out. Good. He's so smart. It hurts. What? Oh, because you're getting hit by the bomb as well. Ooh, that one. Very wishful thinking that it would kill these enemies. I didn't realize. Well, I should have realized. Let's not put it that way. I didn't think far enough ahead to realize that I would also be blowing up Esau with every single bomb that I placed. So there's that. I'm not in an amazing spot necessarily. This should give us some HP. Just keep in mind, we got Pyromaniac on 1 on Jacob, and then on Esau, we've got the Wafer. So we actually do have like a really still easy path forward. All that being said, that very easily could have also destroyed my run. I mean, I'm just feeling very blessed that I didn't die, you know, while doing that, which would have been very funny. I don't even know what hit me. Did you shoot a bomb? I guess I didn't see it, maybe because of some Vascular, you know? I feel like I've had Spelunkers had a lot lately, of course, but I still don't really know how to use the pathing through the, like, the walls. Like, don't we see one extra room, so we shouldn't have even come here to begin with? Okay. Because that, you know what it was? I know what Spelunker's Hat does. I just didn't want to believe that I knew. Because I didn't want this to be a dead end. Instead, I chose to hope that I was ignorant. But that didn't work out. So yeah, I snuck in a little Mario 64. You got a problem with that? You got a problem with good games? Okay, well then, boy, do I have a console for you. It's called the Xbox One. I don't know why. Like, that's now ancient history, but it just felt like... I just felt like making some people angry. It's a fine console. If you got one for Christmas this year, I apologize or whatever. Sorry. Boy, I sure hope Microsoft, the world's largest company by market cap, recovers from the scathing burn that I just released on it. This episode comes out like right as the American stock market opens, so I don't know. That could be... I apologize to all Microsoft holders if I've affected their share price today. Don't hit me. You're gonna do damage to me after I let my family watch Jungle Cruise on Disney Plus? It's like the nicest guy in the world. Excuse me, what the heck is that? So that's okay. Do not be alarmed. That is a message from my daycare provider that has come over Google Hangouts. I know you might be like, I gotta check my Microsoft Teams. I gotta check my Skype. I gotta check my Discord. Oh, I gotta check my Zoom. I think I just got a Zoom message. Wait, what sound is that? Is that a Steam chat notification? Do not be alarmed. It's on my end. Anyway, that's like literally all I got. I don't know. I've just been chilling. I'm not like an interesting guy. I don't do that much interesting stuff. I'll tell you, dude, you know what? I've fully sunk into middle age. Even though I'm not quite there numerically yet. I got so much turkey. Like, we had a whole turkey for one meal with 4 adults. And then the rest of the time is just 2 adults. And my wife, you know... she's got an appetite sometimes, but it's a selective appetite. It's largely an appetite for, like, what she's craving. I think some people can relate to that, but some people can also relate to me, which is basically my appetite scales with respect to the scale of the food around me. So, right now is an interesting time because I've got 2 very large Tupperware containers full of turkey. I bought some bread to make turkey sandwiches. You know, we got mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing left over. I don't know, I gotta make some weirdo sandwiches. Like, I'm going full Marmaduke, man. I guess Marmaduke's the dog. I'm going full Dagwood. I still can't, look, here's what I'll say, okay? I used to not respect the hot turkey sandwich as much as some people because typically a hot turkey sandwich is served, you make the sandwich with the turkey and then you pour some gravy over top of it. So your hands either burn or you use a knife and fork to eat a sandwich, which I always just saw, and you'll see this with a lot of the, you know, my takes on, like, you know, do you use a knife and fork to eat fish and chips, for example. But I don't like a food that requires you to use like 10 napkins, you know, or like to have to wash your hands after. People sometimes try to gaslight me. Oh, you don't wash your hands after you eat? No, I mean, like, more so now, yes, but like usually not. Once I'm done, I'm done. I just, you know, go back to work. But I gotta admit, I tried the hot turkey sandwich a couple hours ago, ate it with a knife and fork, had a great time. I said, now I see what I'm missing, but I can't get down with the moisture maker in the middle, the 3-piece sandwich. It's just too much bread for me, and I'm a bread-based man. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. See ya.